you climb up a mountain, you have to wear some gear. It's colder. So every 1,000 metres you go up, the temperature drops. It's wetter because you've relief rainfall. Windy because you've more winds there. So another thing we said about the clouds coming in, what happens? They're forced to rise and you have relief.
Rainfall.
Relief
titties.
Okay? So it can be on either side. So if this is coming in from the sea, you have the clouds coming in. You have the cloud coming in over the ocean, full of moisture. They're forced to rise over the mountain. It cools and condenses. You've relief rainfall.
Is that rain, miss?
Pardon?
Is that rain?
Yes, relief rainfall.
Alright, yeah.
As it has to climb, it gets cold and it releases the rain. That's why we get so much rainfall in Kerry, because the winds are from the southwest. They come in over the sea. They're full of moisture. They meet the Kerry Mountains. They're forced to rise. And you have rainfall. So, the 3 reasons now why you don't build on upland areas. 1, it's hard to build houses and roads, isn't it? 2, the weather is
very nice.
bad. And 3, the soil is, poor farming. Because the soil is very thin, so you have poor agriculture.
Poor farting.
The 3 points, away from it here. So the first point is building. The second point is weather. And the third point is farming. Yes. Okay?
What are you doing?
So you put that down away from the side there. The 3 things. Building, you can't build on high ground. The weather is poor and the farming is poor. So you can build, the weather is cold, wet and windy, and farming is poor. There are the 3 points. Okay, so you have 3 reasons.
Miss, Leanne has a bag of weed.
That's enough. It's cold, wet and windy. On the mountains you have relief rainfall. Okay, I'm writing up reports I'm giving you to your tutors. Face forward, Beatrice. Take your leg off the seats, everybody. On the floor. Now turn over the page. Why is there low density in lowland areas? What would be the reason? Now low density means few people, few settlements. Read it from Islamic. First one.
Settlement avoids poorly drained areas. These may be flood plains or rivers, margins of lakes, or land with a lot of surface water. Settlements avoid these because...
Okay, settlement means people building houses. So, why, if you had a lowland area, if you had a river and there was no houses near it, the first thing you would think was flooding, isn't it? And why do you avoid areas that get flooded?
Because you might die.
Okay, the first bullet point there. What can a flood do?
Can damage houses.
Houses and roads. The second reason.
More difficult,
to build roads there, even. Roads won't be built near there.
How can it damage roads if the water...
Flood. Oh. Like the last flood we have at the sea. To just...
It damage bridges, yeah, but like,
yeah.
Not really...
It can damage roads. It can damage cars if they were on the road.
Yeah.
And soils may be badly drained, which is farming. So, the 2 main things, it will damage houses, isn't it?
And roads.
It will damage roads. You don't build roads there in the first place. And it can
Then how can
farming.
it damage roads, miss?
If there are roads there, if you have a big flood, it can disrupt traffic. You can't travel there. You've seen pictures of that. So, we draw the diagram here. At the top of the page, you have a river flowing here, or double line. So if it floods, what can it do?
Flood.
Houses.
Die.
And farmland, isn't it? So it can damage houses and it can damage farmland. It can destroy crops. It can even kill animals. And as well as that, you don't have good access is that you have few roads, they don't build them there, and you have few houses. So, near a floodplain,
What?
you don't build roads, you don't build houses, so this limits access. Would you draw your diagram, please?
Yeah, draw it down.
So, in an area, now it can be near a river, it can be near a lake, or it can be somewhere there is a lot of, the water doesn't drain down. So, what can a flood do, Chanel? If the land floods near a river, what can it damage? Farmland. If you have crops grown there, it can destroy them. What else can it damage, Beatrice?
Roads, of course.
Roads, houses. It will go into the houses. So that's why people don't build near
Roads.
places that are liable to flood. Now, areas that are liable to flood are near a
Place.
river, near a lake. Or it could be just that the rainwater doesn't go down through the land fast enough. And you've seen pictures of this where land is flooded around the Shannon, that they have to bring in the cattle to safety, or the cattle might be stranded in a field, they have to feed it. Yeah. Now, why is there an absence of settlement? Why is there absence? No settlement.
Absence.
Now, there is no settlement on the slopes maybe of a mountain or a hill. And then the 3 reasons why you don't build on a hill. The first one, Soheeb. And buildings. And this limits access. The second one, Chanel.
Do you know where we are?
Upland areas have
I
less.
wouldn't say so.
Shh.
I say so.
Beatrice, yeah, one. Climate.
And poor weather conditions such as lower temperatures, strong winds and high rainfall.
And the last one.
Soils are thinner, which makes something more
Agriculture more difficult. So, the other question we did is an area of low population density. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, why are few people living there, and why are there no people living there? It's the same answer, isn't it? So, we did the diagram there of the mountain. So, you might have few people, maybe on the slopes of a mountain, but where will you have no people? In some, on the top of the mountain, isn't it? Do you remember we found out yesterday there was a hill? So if we got an ordnance survey map of part of Killarney here, there would be very little settlement up on the top of the mountains, wouldn't there? There'd be no settlement. So, what we've done today is, Vladimir, since you want to talk,
Shut up.
where would you have high settlement density? Where would you have a lot of people living?
Yeah, Vladimir.
Where? In towns?
Below
Where
the
you
ground,
have
yeah.
an urban... In towns or villages, where you have
Low line.
an urban area, isn't it? An urban area would be a lot of people living there. Why do people live there? Because it's usually
Flat.
flat. What are the advantages of flat land? I want one from each of you. Beatrice,
There's 3 of them.
what's the advantage of flat land? Houses and roads. If you have roads, it's easy to get transport in and out. Another reason, you just read it there, Chanel. Flat land. What about the weather?
Oh, I missed out on the
It's usually better, isn't it, than high ground. The third one. What can you grow better in flat land? Crops and farming, isn't it? So that's why the early people settled near on flat land, usually near a river. Pardon? You're going back hundreds of years. Where would you have poor settlement?
On the highland.
On hilly land, isn't it? You wouldn't have a lot of people living there.
Hilly land.
Why? It's the exact opposite. It's hard to build
Like
on the slope, houses and
yeah.
roads. Another reason, Vladimir. Pardon?
That's it.
Another reason why you want to build on high ground. Would you have access? You'd have few
Very nice.
roads to get there.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in. Another one. High ground. The weather is
Bad.
bad. It's colder, wetter, windier. Another reason.
There's no more reasons.
Hillside. Sit up, Beatrice, please. Hillsides, you'd have poor farming.
She fell out the mountain.
Okay. Beatrice Beatrice, tell me where, directly on low ground, it's on low ground where you wouldn't have settlement. It's up there, where you're near a river or a lake.
Yeah.
What might happen?
The river or the lake might
Overflow. What would it damage?
Houses,
Roads and
farmland.
farmland. If you crop set, you might even kill animals if they were stranded. You might, you'd often see pictures there of roads, you can't pass roads. People with stranded cars destroyed. Remember the pictures in England of the floods? Cars would be ruined. Okay, put that into your folders, please.
Mr. We need
Let's go home.
Into your folders, those that have it.